Hi, this is another strategic thinking series. We've been talking a lot recently about VMOs, so vendor management offices, and core processes, and why it's a good idea to have a set of core processes, how to build processes, how to measure the maturity on them. But we've never done a piece actually on what is considered a core process or one of the core processes. And there's quite a few that we recommend to our customers and clients, so we're going to go through them one by one. And today we're going to be talking about one of the main ones, which is segmentation. Everyone likes to be treated equally, but unfortunately in a supplier sense and a vendor sense, that probably is never a good idea. There's only so much resource that you have internally, so to try and treat all your suppliers or vendors equally is probably not a good idea. Some of the best practice approaches that there are out there and some inspiration that you can get from others who have gone before in this space, there is a Kraljic model and there is a Kenton model. We will include these links in the description below on the YouTube channel. But ultimately they come down to the same thing. There's several measures that you can take as an organisation or put in place, like a scoring system to determine generally how critical a vendor is or a supplier is to your business. So if they were to be impacted or stop supplying you with whatever they're contractually committed to supply you with, is that going to have a big impact on your business or not an impact at all? Or is it going to be up to sort of catastrophic to your business? And through a series of steps, being able to score them out in that manner. And then commonly what's done after that is how much money you're spending with supplier, how strategically aligned they are with you. So if it's a lot of money you're spending, if they are very embedded in your strategic plans and your ability to strategically execute, they might not be operationally critical as such, like in the hour to hour, day to day, but they might be strategically supporting your organisation and your company and where you're going as a company vision, etc. You might want to consider also things like complexity. So if it's a very low complexity, commoditized product that's very much off the shelf that a lot of suppliers do, they typically wouldn't score very high in that regard because that means you can switch from them very easily. It means what they do isn't considered to be complex versus if you was working with a supplier that you were spending a lot of money with, you take a lot of products with them, you take a lot of bespoke complex services from them, they're entrenched and embedded within your organization, they're part of your ability to service your customers. They would be really critical to your function and then thus very difficult to move away from quickly. So all it boils up to is that the more important and critical the vendor is and the supplier is and what they do, how hard that is to then switch overnight, plus the money you're spending with them, would decree that they sit in this more important bucket. And then you have a bucket that's more important, or the most important, should I say, than critical to less important to somewhat tactical and commoditized. What that gears you up to be able to do is putting these in 4, 5, 6 buckets, whatever groupings you define. It gives you the ability to set governance for that and cadence and frequency. So what I mean by that is your most critical suppliers you probably want to meet with on a, if not you're being embedded and working with them on a daily basis, you want to have like governance led meetings with them at least sort of on a monthly basis, we would say, if not quarterly. You'd talk about a set really comprehensive agenda that checks things like performance, contractual delivery, risk, etc. We can come onto those in later videos. Versus all the way down the other end, the transactional, you might only meet with them, maybe not even a year, you might meet with them only when the contract you're currently on is expiring and you're looking to extend and thus or cancel. Might be the only time you meet with them. Other than that, it's just a business as usual, commoditized service, and you don't do any governance with them at all. And in which case, we'd always recommend that you do some kind of level of digital engagement with them. So you let some kind of digital platform talk to them on a regular basis for them to be able to at least feedback whether they're on target, business as usual for them, and providing it is, nothing happens. If it isn't, then it flags you to go and have a look at that supplier. But that's outside the realms of segmentation. So segmentation, bucketing your suppliers and your supplier landscape into meaningful groups that then you can apply a set governance structure around each of those groups. What that allows you to do is be really efficient with your resource. So your team doesn't need to be too bloated because you're managing those that need to be managed closer in a better manner, and those that don't, you're not doing much with. So it's optimizing efficiency for your internal team. And it's the first process that we would recommend any vendor management office or supply management function put in place to be able to differentiate between the suppliers that are in their scope. Hope that was useful. We're going to come on to some more. We've got 11 that we think are key to your function. Segmentation was the first one. Comments, feedback, all welcome. Thanks again.
To keep up with the latest Brooklyn vendor assurance news, subscribe here and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Links in the description below.